So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Real Talk. My name is Saieed Ali, your host, your one and only. So viewers, straight into our updates tonight. Minister of Rural Development and Local Government, Khadija Amin, met with India's High Commissioner, Dr. Pradip Singh, on Tuesday to discuss bilateral cooperation on civic development. The meeting focused on potential partnership and grant opportunities from India to support local projects in Trinidad. Thank God we are going China. But nevertheless, discussions amid the enhancing municipal service, flood mitigation, and infrastructure. So Trinidad and Tobago, apart from China, India is one of the large countries in the world today that has a lot of technology, that has a lot of food, a lot of infrastructure. The same thing China is producing is more or less the same thing India is producing. So dealing with India might give us a plus, maybe some benefits. Remember, the former administration used to deal with China on a whole lot of scales. But nevertheless, public concerns, Trinidad and Tobago. Residents of Gillingham Junction in Charleville have stated that it has been months since they have gotten a proper water supply. Some says that they now have to choose between using water to cook or to bathe, and their needs to eat is waning. Listen.
Well, I don't bathe easy. Once a week. I tell you, once a week, I don't bathe. It has no water. And we have water for 3 months and more. We have no water. We can't report the buying water. The truck and come, we had to go and buy water steady. And it's overbearing.
So viewers, over 20 families are being affected, and some even said that the issue dates as bad as decades. Another resident said that the issue started under the PP government, that's almost 10 years ago, or let's say 12 years ago. And even though WASA tried to fix the issue, it was never completed under the PNM government.
It started with when WASA decided to change a 4-inch main that runs along this side of the road, and they changed over the highway, the line coming from over the highway, under the highway here and going to Pier Road. They changed on that side in 2014 when partnership was in power, and then they changed on Pier Road side, and they skip us. And by the time they finish Pier Road, the government changed and they decide not to continue it. And they left us this short piece of road, less than 300 feet. They left the old corroded pipe, which diameter is down to about 1 inch.
So Marvin was talking a whole lot of nonsense. Almost 300 feet of road remained in Charleville area to fix, and they just did nothing. Imagine that, eh? Absolutely nothing. Now, Barry, however, Public Utility Minister Barry Patharat reassured citizens that the issue will be addressed in about 2 weeks' time.
Asked the chairman to look at it as an emergency project. I am advised that this project will be completed within 2 weeks' time. The CEO has advised the chairman that it will be completed within 2 weeks' time to bring about a greater measure of relief. It requires a change out of a 1-inch main that services both areas, Marchand and Charleville. And therefore, I ask the residents in that area to bear with us.
So viewers, in about 2 weeks' time from now, we're going to bring you an update on this same issue. Because I'll tell you something. Water is important. Water is very, very important. It is important as the air you breathe. That is how important water is. So in about 2 weeks' time, viewers, we're going to get an update on this story and we're going to bring it back to you. Moving along. 2 Carenage residents are calling on the authorities to attend to a landslide. A landslide adjacent to their property, which is threatening their homes. The residents say it has been posing a problem for years, with even former minister and MP for the area, Dr. Rowley, paying them a visit, but to date, nothing has been done. So viewers, on screen is the actual situation that is taking place when it rains. The landslide, the water. Imagine, Dr. Rowley visited the place. He visited the area, visited the place, could not instruct Rohan Sinanan to get a team out there and fix the problem. It's sad, you know. It's sad. So some of you now would say, Said, oh, you're bashing the PNM. No, I am not bashing the PNM. We voted individual. We voted a party. And the head of that party assigned individual to a certain office. That office has responsibility to the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. Has your responsibility been met? Hence the reason why on a Wednesday night we have public concerns viewers to highlight the issues like this. It's not like the minister didn't went, you know. The minister went. The Prime Minister himself paid a visit. What came out of it? Absolutely nothing. She stated that it is becoming expensive for her to do the repairs for herself. Another resident stated that she has been pleading with the ODPM for assistance.
Here in St. Peter's Gardens, we've been having this ongoing problem with landslides. The first landslide I had was even before 2018. It was actually probably before 2015 even. And at that time, I didn't get any help from the authorities. So I had to clear the drain. I had to rebuild the drain, and then try and just rebuild my fence.
So Trinidad and Tobago, when will it all stop? When will it all stop? When? But nevertheless, we are going to continue night after night highlighting the issues that we have in Trinidad and Tobago to fix. So, viewers, to some current affairs bill news now. Homeland Security Minister Roger Alexander have stated that the country should not appear soft on crime. And he is proposing that bail be denied for 180 days to those caught with illegal guns. Reacting to the issue of the recent release of the kidnapped victim, Janki Sati Karim, by police, Alexander commended the officers for their swift response. Hours later, a second suspect was killed by police during a shootout. The minister said criminals must not be allowed to feel comfortable and insisted that law enforcement officers should use lethal force if attacked. Listen to this.
We have to treat the criminals in such a way. Either two things can happen. Either we incarcerate them, hopefully it will make sense, or if they in any way go after the officers or decide not to give up while they arm with their weapon, then the police officer must use his use of force policy and treat to them. That is all it is.
So now viewers, Alexander he said, criminals are not afraid of being imprisoned, and the state response should also include a change in legislation, especially for gun offense. So Trinidad and Tobago, this is something I have been saying. I have been saying it for some time now. You get caught with a legal firearm, and you get bail to come out and rob again. While the homeowners who have a legal firearm, they end up in more problems than the one with the illegal firearm. How come? How come? Former Minister of National Security, they had no problem with this. Former Prime Minister, Dr. Rowley, said, we don't want to turn Trinidad and Tobago into the wild, wild west, but yet, 2025, we are actually living in the wild, wild west. Because more illegal guns are on the street than citizens having legal firearm to protect themselves. So I often ask myself, why? Why is it that someone with an illegal firearm have more rights than the one with a legal firearm? Hence the reason why I always say, I know my rights. I sweat days and night to save money to buy a property. The bandit didn't sweat together with me. They didn't do that. And this is why I say from time to time, and maybe night after night, if you jump my fence and end up in my property, I will kill you stone dead. You didn't sweat with me. And it have no police, no judge, no lawyer is going to ask me, Saeed, why you kill the man? You know what I will tell him? I say, you come and jump my fence 2 o'clock in the morning and ask me why I shooting you. So this is where now I would support Kamala with stand your ground legislation. Because all police officers know how hard they work to save money, to go to the bank, to get a loan, to buy a house, to start a family, and boom, someone who does not know about your sacrifice just decide to jump your wall and come into your house. And then me now owning a legal firearm, when I empty my clip on that individual, the police now want to tell me I wrong. But if the police shoot a bandit inside their property, they are corrected. They are protected by the law. They are protected by the lawyers. They are protected by the magistrate. By an individual like me, my gun will be seized. I might end up in jail just for protecting my asset, my family. It's sad, eh? The Lord one way. So tonight I will support Alexander in changing the legislation. Saying he's the Minister of Homeland Security. I want to hear what he has to say. I want to see what type of legislation he would come out with. Give homeowners rights over bandits in your property. It might sound harsh that Saeed is another human being, but what the hell he doing in my property? Ask yourself that. Ask yourself that. Cinder lady from PNM. What's your name again? The lady with the cinder. Renuka said, we the PNM will not support stand your ground legislation. Ask Renuka if any of her family, if bandit ever jump in their property. Ask Renuka and the family if any bandit ever stick a gun to their head. Ask Renuka and her family if any one of their family has been kidnapped, robbed, or almost beaten to death in their property. You know, since the PNM loss, I haven't heard from Renuka. She ain't singing and dancing on the stage again. Well, Landslide, let's see Renuka. Like she disappear. But nevertheless. So viewers, we are going for a short commercial break, but when we come back, I have something nice for you concerning Rowley. And his name, as he said, appeared on the Interpol list. More on that when we return.
We'll be right back.
When life throws you a curveball and you need a clear path forward, trust Real Talk Wrecking Service to get you back on track. Whether you're stuck on the roadside or dealing with an unexpected breakdown, our 24/7 wrecking service is just one call away. Fast response, reliable towing, and a team that's got your back. At Real Talk Wrecking Service, we don't just tow, we rescue. Real Talk Wrecking Service, your lifeline on the road to recovery.
Real Talk Financing is offering you 5% on a fixed deposit for 5 years and over with upfront interest. Contact our central office at 238-6716 or our San Fernando office at 242-9944. You don't want to miss this great opportunity. Invest today and watch your investment work for you.
Tired of wasting precious time at the bank applying for a loan, only to be denied? We understand your frustration. Here at Real Talk Group of Companies, we take a different approach. Contact Saieed, Managing Director of Real Talk Group of Companies and licensed moneylender at 238-6716, 242-7690 or 339-1670. Feel free to visit our office at number 14 Carney Savannah Road, Chaguanas, or number 132 Superior Road, Victoria Village, San Fernando.
At Real Talk Studios, we dedicate our time to highlight the glaring issues we face within our community. Catch us live every Wednesday between 7 to 8 p.m. Real Public Concern. Because your concerns are meant to be heard. Send your email to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com.
Welcome back.
So Trinidad and Tobago, remember when Dr. Rowley said, hey, when you get a video, you're going to let me know. We have video? So Trinidad and Tobago, before I go to the story of Dr. Rowley and the Interpol decision, remember when PNM was in power, Renuka said that her party will not support standard ground legislation. Take a look at this video.
To bring stand your ground legislation, you know who you will rely upon? The government of the day to bring forward that legislation, brothers and sisters. So when they come and they talk, stand your ground, stand your ground, stand your ground, stand your ground, what? Ms. Prasad says, you stand your ground and understand that the PNM controls the majority in the parliament. And as long as we are here, we will not support stand your ground unless the evidence shows otherwise.
So Trinidad and Tobago, August 2023. That was when she said she and her party will not support stand your ground legislation and wanted evidence. So hence the reason why I asked if any of her family ever end up in a home invasion, if anyone of her family ever got brutalized by bandits and beaten with a gun butt. I don't know if that was the evidence she was waiting on. But this is something I don't wish on people. Because I know the brutal attack when a bandit comes to you. They come in without fear. They don't care if they kill you or not. You see, other people and ministers will butter it up. Nice cheese paste, nice peanut butter, nice cherry on it. But I wouldn't butter it up because I know the real world, how it is out there. When my son was almost kidnapped, I felt it. That was a real act. That was not a toy act, that was a real act. But God has been good to me. God has been good to me, and I thank God for that. But while the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago were crying out for help, crying out for the government to do something, crying out for the then Minister of National Security to do something, she told Kamala, you stand your ground. What about the many homes under the PNM control community end up under home invasion? And that is what she had to tell her. That is what Renuka had to tell earlier. So when a bandit come into your home, I'll tell you this. It ain't have no UNC and PNM there. It don't. It have you and the bandit. It have you and the bandit. Is it that your daughter get raped, the mother get raped, the grandmother get raped? Is it that the son get killed, the father get killed, or the grandfather get killed? And that is the reality of it. But Renuka wanted evidence. I don't know if she was waiting for some evidence or family member to get brutalized in a home invasion. I don't know if that's the evidence she wants. I tell you, we just have people. We vote, put them in power, and those same set of people will turn around. So I wonder how the PNM people felt now, being terrorized in their home, their private home, their home where they're paying a loan on, to hear now Renuka turn around now and tell them that. It's sad, It's really sad. Hence the reason why I always say, I am not any political party. I don't affiliate. I am not a member. Who am I? I am Saieed. I am an individual who have a show on television that will push for laws and legislations to make sure the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago are safe. That is what I will do. So viewers, we're going on to Dr. Keith Rowley and his name, which he said was on the Interpol list. Keep in mind, Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, Intelligence Department, did a search of any officers or government ministers sending information or letter to Interpol. And according to the Commissioner of Police, no one from Trinidad, from the police service, nor the government sent any letter to Interpol. Now listen this. Antigua and Barbuda Foreign Affairs Minister Chet Greens has expressed regret that his country has been drawn into what he described as a local political matter. His statement follows claim by former Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley, who told the media that he was placed on Interpol watch list after being detained at VC Bird International Airport in Antigua. Despite the fact that the government was unaware of Rowley passing through, he said, It's a TNT issue. Listen to this, viewers.
I think Mbagi does not have any comments to make on this matter, which seemingly is even from Dr. Rowell's account, is a local political development. So the appropriations made, especially of particularly Dr. Rowell passing through. And that in itself is, where we have a concern, because we would like to know that our protocols extended to persons who have served this region, served in different countries.
So Trinidad and Tobago. Meanwhile, the police commissioner, Alistair Grovero, has denied that Rowley was on any Interpol watch list on the day after the former Prime Minister made the claims. Homeland Security Minister Roger Alexander is denying that the government had any knowledge or involvement in the matter. Roger.
Just like everybody else, I am wondering from whence that came. We have no information about that. The government of Trinidad and Tobago did not put anybody, from my knowledge, on any watchable. I didn't say don't put anybody. Didn't put that particular individual on any watch.
We want to know whether or not the former Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Rowley, is telling the truth. Was he really pulled aside? Was there a fabricating story to distract the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago from the real CPEP issue, the URP issue, corruption that is taking place? This is what we want to know. This is what we want to know. Now, I'll tell you something. If Interpol pull you aside, it's obvious these officers will identify themselves. Can Dr. Rowley, the former Prime Minister for Trinidad and Tobago, and also the former head of the Security Council for Trinidad and Tobago, can he provide names of the officers that interviewed him? Providing that, the names, I am definitely sure that the Commissioner of Police, Alistair, and the Minister of National Security, the Minister of Homeland Security, Alexander, would contact Interpol now to ask if there is a John Doe. Can Dr. Rowley provide names of the officers or the Interpol officers that interviewed him? If you can do that, sir, that would be a plus. That will show that Interpol really pulled you aside and had a discussion with you. But if no names are given, how can we believe you? Because you said your government will not shut down Petrotrain, and we saw a whole lot of difference. We saw a whole lot of difference. So this is a little piece of proof that I, Saieed, am asking you. Can you provide names of the Interpol officers that interviewed you? Because I am 100% sure that they would identify themselves. Nevertheless, viewers, Minister Alexander stressed that Interpol operates independently and that the TNT government will not interfere. It's sad, eh? So viewers, it's that time now when we go for a short commercial break, but when we come back, there's lots more. Stay tuned.
We'll be right back.
When life throws you a curveball and you need a clear path forward, trust Real Talk Wrecking Service to get you back on track. Whether you're stuck on a roadside or dealing with an unexpected breakdown, our 24/7 wrecking service is just one call away. Fast response, reliable towing, and a team that's got your back. At Real Talk Wrecking Service, we don't just tow, we rescue. Real Talk Wrecking Service, your lifeline on the road to recovery.
Financing is offering you 5% on a fixed deposit for 5 years and over with upfront interest. Contact our central office at 238-6716 or our San Fernando office at 242-9944. You don't want to miss this great opportunity. Invest today and watch your investment work for you.
Tired of wasting precious time at the bank applying for a loan, only to be denied? We understand your frustration. Here at Realtor Group of Companies, we take a different approach. Contact Saieed, Managing Director of Realtor Group of Companies and licensed moneylender at 238-6716, 242-7690 or 339-1670. Feel free to visit our office at number 14 Carney Savannah Road, Chaguanas, or number 132 Superior Road, Victoria Village, San Fernando.
At Real Talk Studios, we dedicate our time to highlight the blaring issues we face within our community. Catch us live every Wednesday between 7 to 8 p.m. Real Public Concern. Because your concerns are meant to be heard. Send your email to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com.
Welcome back.
So Trinidad and Tobago, with the country now under its second state of emergency, just 7 months into 2025, the 1990 coup survivor Wendell Eversley is questioning the true reason. So viewers, we took the time tonight to contact Mr. Wendell Eversley. We have some questions for him, and I would like him to share the experience that he had on the 1990 coup tonight. So, Mr. Wendell Eversley, good night, sir.
Good night. Good night to Real Talk, and good night to all your listeners, and also all those who listen to you in the Caribbean and internationally. And thank you for having me on your program tonight to discuss the issue at hand, where the 1990 attempted coup is concerned.
Now, Mr. Eversley, just a few questions for you that I would like to share with you, and probably you can explain certain things to the viewers. You lived through the 1990 attempt coup. Do you see any similarities between what's happening now and what's happening then? In other words, do you think another coup could happen in Trinidad the way things are going presently?
Now, I'm glad you raised that question, right? History is something we must learn from.
Yes.
And if we didn't deal with our past, then it could happen again. And what we are seeing today is nothing similar to the build-up of what we are seeing, what took place 35 years ago. And I want to say this to your listeners on your program. This year marks the 35th anniversary of the attempted coup. It was my first day in Parliament 35 years ago. I was not a member of Parliament. I was not a senator. I was not someone who was working in parliamentary Parliament chamber. I went to listen to see how our members of Parliament conduct their business in the highest court of the land, which is the Parliament.
I understand.
And I was a civilian in the public gallery. And going there, my first day was it became a nightmare for me that I have to live through it 35 years now. And what we are seeing taking place today, we are ripe, and it could even be worse. But I'm glad that we are seeing today some sort of results, especially where we now in a state of emergency.
I understand.
Because I want to tell you all this, Trinidad and Tobago, how we reached where we is today. In 1990, they went to overthrow an elected government.
Yes.
The attempted coup of 1990, they failed. The Prime Minister back then, I saw him get shot. And I saw him use the famous words, they are torturers, they are murderers, attack with full force. Because he rather give up his life than give in to a group of, I call them terrorists, and I keep saying it because they came in there with no good intention. They came in there to overthrow an elected government. And what we are seeing today, where the Commissioner of Police have to go to the Prime Minister in the dead of the night to give the Prime Minister, which is the head of the National Security Council, to tell her what they uncovered. It was a plot to do what? Murder judges, magistrates, police officers, and prison officers. And when you hear a plot of that nature, you have to act on it. Because why it is you want to murder judges and magistrates, which is an independent institution, separate from the government.
Now, saying institution, Mr. Wendell, right? I just want to ask you this, since you mentioned institution, right? Now, the public trust in institution is very shaky at this point in time. Do you think the government and the security forces have earned the people confidence in managing national security?
I will go back again because you have to compare 1990 to now.
Yes.
1990, one person, because if you all go through to the Commission of Inquiry report, I sat 95% of the commission at the Caribbean Court of Appeal at Henry Street. And when I heard members of the Protective Service went before the commissioners and tell the commissioners, back then, one person alone would have the head of the special branches to report to the Prime Minister back then. What we are seeing today is because of the Commission of Inquiry into 1990, which was commenced under Kamla Prasad-Bisesa. I have to thank her for that because it takes 20 years of I fighting and saying we must have a Commission of Inquiry to know all these guns into our country. To know how come our national security apparatus did not, on top of the job, to know that what was taking place back then. Because today, we see operations that put in place because of 1990 where you could detect and have people in certain places to know what are they planning. And if we didn't have a national operations center because of 1990, because of the Commission of Inquiry in 1990, we would have never know what would have been taking place today. It could have been worse.
All right, since you mentioned that now, what do you make of the report that gang members are controlling operations from behind bars?
Well, it's sad because I want to tell you this. If gang members are calling the shot from behind bars and they're working with a network outside, and I'm going to say it, and I keep saying it, what we are seeing today with the influx of people from other countries, I ain't calling the country name. What we are seeing today in Trinidad and Tobago, they enhance the local gangs that we have here in this country called Trinidad and Tobago. and the network has widened. Because we're talking about people who come from country with a population with over 20 million people.
Correct.
Our population is 1.4 million.
Correct.
We're talking about people who criminal network. And if you, I'm not calling the country, but if you do research and you go and you see how those people operate.
Different.
They came into our shores, work with the local gangs that we have here.
Yes.
Put systems in place.
Correct.
To make this country ungovernable. And we are seeing a 1990 ripe. And if it was not for what we are seeing taking place today, where the Commissioner of Police uncover a network from inside and outside.
Correct, yes.
And what the plan was going to do. Remember those fellas' plan was to do what? Kidnap, extortion, for ransom, have business people life uneasy.
Correct.
Because when you look at how we living in this country today, we are living in jail. After 7 o'clock.
They lock up tight.
This place is like a ghost town. And you notice, certain part of the country, if you all want to be honest, and you all drive through, you will see one set of people operating.
So now, Mr. Eversley, having survived the 1990 coup, what lesson did you think Trinidad and Tobago still hasn't learned when it comes to crisis management and internal threats?
1990 was the beginning of the increase in criminality in Trinidad and Tobago. And if we did deal with the stage 1 of the cancer back then, and make sure that it didn't reach stage 5, because when it reached stage 5, it spread all over and it gets out of hand. And it's very hard now. It's very hard now. And let me tell you something, we have a problem in this country, and we have to face reality. The people do not trust the police.
I understand.
Right? And that is something the police have to work on, so that the population, the law-abiding population, you know what I'm saying? The law-abiding population could be secure. Because when the police telling us, if we see something, come and trust them.
Yes.
But if we go and we let them know what we see, how are we sure that when we leave there, somebody will pick up a phone and call the person and says they just come and report you?
I understand.
So you're putting other people's life in danger.
At risk, yes.
And that's why you see, we have to come up with a crime plan. And the crime plan must work for every single body in this country. And you see children, you see parents have to hold a grip on the children.
True.
And I like what the Commissioner of Police said. If a parent cannot control their child,
the police will.
We should have laws to deal with the parent. We should have laws to deal with the parent, because it's stemming your home, you know. It's stemming your home. In 1990, the guy who was guarding me was about 16 years old.
Wow.
16 years old. How come a 16-year-old and his mother do not know what he's doing? And when he leave home and coming home a certain time, the parents in questioning him. And some parents know the children in walking away, the daughter in walking away, but she have on a big, massive gold chain, about 80,000 around her neck.
True.
And then asking them where they get that chain from. This reminds me of, if you all could remember, former Commissioner of Police, Prison Commissioner Hercules, when he was confronted by 2 bandits, he shoot one and one kill him. And what his mother said, he's a good boy, he went to look to see how he could get money. How you could go and look to see how he could get money by what? Robbing people?
So Mr. Eversley, we want to thank you for taking the time out to share your little experience and advice to Trinidad and Tobago. I hope your recovery from the 1990 coup to going forward, I hope you recover smoothly.
I want to thank you for having me on. But let me tell you this, we have to take control of our children. Let our children know that people who stay in these community leaders, they have to think carefully how they are associating with them. Because next thing they end up giving them guns.
True.
And let me tell you something, if we don't pull back on how we operate and do things in this country, because we will be giving people work, and instead of they take the money to do meaningful things, what they're doing, they invest in it in arms and ammunition. And we have to deal with that in this country called Trinidad and Tobago.
Thank you, my friend.
Okay, thanks.
So viewers, we have in fact a commercial break, but still locked on. When we come back, Rowley breaks silence on CPEP contract after this.
We'll be right back.
When life throws you a curveball and you need a clear path forward, trust Real Talk Wrecking Service to get you back on track. Whether you're stuck on a roadside or dealing with an unexpected breakdown, our 24/7 wrecking service is just one call away. Fast response, reliable towing, and a team that's got your back. At Real Talk Wrecking Service, we don't just tow, we rescue. Real Talk Wrecking Service, your lifeline on the road to recovery.
Real Talk Financing is offering you 5% on a fixed deposit for 5 years and over with upfront interest. Contact our central office at 238-6716 or our San Fernando office at 242-9944. You don't want to miss this great opportunity. Invest today and watch your investment work for you.
Tired of wasting precious time at the bank applying for a loan, only to be denied? We understand your frustration. Here at Real Talk Report Companies, we take a different approach. Contact Saieed, Managing Director of Real Talk Report Companies and licensed moneylender at 238-6716, 242-7690 or 339-1670. Feel free to visit our office at number 14 Carney Savannah Road, Chaguanas, or number 132 Superior Road, Victoria Village, San Fernando.
At Real Talk Studios, we dedicate our time to highlight the glaring issues we face within our community. Catch us live every Wednesday between 7 to 8 p.m. Real Public Concern. Because your concerns are meant to be heard. Send your email to realpublicconcerns@gmail.com.
Welcome back.
So Trinidad and Tobago, with all the talk of the corruption and the corruption and the corruption, with CPEP, URP, reforestation workers, we were not hearing from Mr. Faris Al-Rawi for a few days. But nevertheless, viewers, former Minister of Rural Development and Local Government, Minister Faris Al-Rawi, has broken his silence on allegations tied to the ongoing litigation involving the Community-Based Environmental Protection and Enhancement Program, CPEP. Al-Rawi said the information being circulated is intended to deceive the public Allegations made by CPEP CEO Kidnapping were that Al-Rowley pressured him to approve the mass renewal of contracts or contractor contracts without cabinet approval in the days leading up to the April 20th general election. The claims have been taken up by the United National Congress, with Public Utility Minister Barry Patharat urging Al-Rowley to address the issue. But in a statement yesterday, Al-Rowley cautioned against the premature and politicized discussions of proceedings still before the court. So viewers, Al-Rowley has broken his silence, but in the coming days, viewers, we're going to keep you up to date on this matter, because I'll tell you something, $1.4 billion, according to the present Public Utility Minister's contracts were issued totaling that amount. And if there were no cabinet approval, we want to know why, we want to know if money was spent, and we want to know who is going to be held accountable for this incident. We will deal with that some other days coming up, viewers, with some more info. But I want to go to Guyana. The global biodiversity day in Guyana, bringing together international scientists, world leaders, and indigenous representatives to address the growing threat of biodiversity loss. Led by Guyana's President Irfan Ali, the 3-day summit aims to strengthen global commitment to conservation and formalize a global biodiversity alliance. Ali said, the Guyana ecosystem serves a worth of US $15.2 billion a year, and advised regional leaders to invest in nature for plants, earth survival. As he said, global biodiversity is under siege. Listen to this.
Every year we lose an estimated 10 million hectares of forests. 1 million species face extinction. Wetlands are vanishing 3 times faster than forests. And we are approaching irreversible tipping points in key ecosystems, from coral reefs to savannas to rainforests. These changes are not remote or abstract. They are real, immediate. Every year we lose an estimated 10 million hectares of forests.
So viewers, he said, the destruction continues, not due to ignorance, but due to invisibility. Listen to this.
Too often, the true value of biodiversity is ignored in national accounts, absent from financial statements, and invisible in boardrooms and budget plans. The invisibility.
So viewers, President Ali said, the global biodiversity framework, which aims to halt and reverse biodiversity loss, putting nature on a path to recovery, aims to prioritize this. Listen to Ali.
We are committed to scaling blended finance, to de-risk investment in nature-based enterprises, piloting biodiversity credits that reward stewardship, expanding debt for nature swaps modeled on our own experience, supporting community-driven finance models that place indigenous leadership at the center.
So viewers, let's wish him all the best. So now into a little crime news, viewers. So Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, TTPS, successfully rescued kidnapped victim Kareem Lachman and Ryan Singh on Wednesday after a targeted intelligence-led operation in Valencia. The 2 men were abducted on Monday while making a delivery, and the abandoned vehicle later found in Aruca. Acting on intelligence, officers located and detained 2 suspects in Valencia. causing the remaining captor to flee. Lakshman and Singh seized the opportunity to escape and made their way to the Valencia police station. They are receiving medical checks before reuniting with their family. Earlier today, Lakshman's relative confirmed that a ransom of $1.2 million was demanded for his safe release. His mother, Annie, described what transpired when she arrived at the scene when his vehicle was found.
I saw the vehicle in a very dark area, bushy area, and I didn't want to come out. I was scared. So I went up, high up the road, I turned and I come back down. And coming back down, I say, you know what, I'll probably go across by his friends and them where he will normally be. So I went there again, blow my horn, try calling out to people, nobody came out. I drive back down the road and I said, you know what, best I call the police. Because I am seeing the vehicle here, but I'm not seeing him. Something is wrong.
So viewers, like I said, some people would understand the reaction of crime towards them. Some wouldn't. Ministers would not even come close to know how it feels to be a victim. I was a victim. I was a victim. I am a father whose son was almost kidnapped. Hence the reason why I am the way I am today. Today. But nevertheless, Trinidad and Tobago, that time has come and gone. I have pushed for a lot of legislation and amendment to help Trinidad and Tobago. And thus far, we have gotten 14 passed. I want to thank those who understood the seriousness of it, carried to the parliament, debated, and got it passed, signed and passed. So viewers, I am here. I'm going to continue doing my work as I do every night from 7 to 8 p.m. to try and make Trinidad and Tobago a safer place. You are viewing Real Talk with Saieed Ali. Until then, good night.